What is this? This is the iPod Shuffle. Today I'd like to introduce you to one of my favorite things that I've ever owned. It is this. Now, you might be asking, well, what is that? It looks like a pack of gum, and that was the joke at the time, was yes, that Apple computer, maker of the iPod, known for the iPod at the time, had made a pack of gum that you could listen to music on. And this actually has a special place in my heart because my first blog that I started in 2004 was about this. What is this? This is the iPod Shuffle. And if you're of a certain age, you remember Apple had become relatively popular selling music players, starting with the iPod. But at one point, they started shrinking in size, and one of the form factors that they got to was so small that it didn't have a screen, and that was the iPod Shuffle, and that's this right here. Now, you might ask, well, why would you want to sell a MP3 player, a music player with no screen? Well, that's the beauty of the iPod Shuffle, and I'm going to show you a few of the key features. So pull up a chair, get some tea. Let's talk about the iPod Shuffle. This is what it looks like here. I'm going to try to keep it in focus, although it'll probably go out here and there. Here's the back. It had a headphone jack, which you can see here. I think I only have two pairs of headphones even that have this jack, but at the time, it has a three-way switch, which has off, one down is just repeat, and then all the way down, which is what I used to it mostly as, was shuffle. And there was also a button where you could click to have a little light show you your battery. And then on the front we have the classic play, forward, backwards, and volume up and down. And you might ask, well, great, but how do you plug this into your computer and get music? Because that's how we stored our music at the time, was on our iTunes libraries, on our computers that we would rip from our CDs or get other ways. Well, this is one of my favorite parts. This is how you would charge and also sync it. It had a USB-A plug right there on the bottom. And actually this cap, you probably can't see it, but it has little ball bearings that clip into little holes on the side here. And that would be very secure, or secure-ish. And there was a necklace attachment that was like this, but it had a lanyard cord, so you could swap that out, and then you could keep this. Now, the most important thing about the iPod Shuffle it was light. It had no screen, so you didn't have to worry about breaking the screen, and you could clip it on something or shove it in a pocket or hang it from a necklace. There was third-party cases and other things like that. But yeah, so USB. I've actually plugged this in. The battery is shot on it, and I was able to get a couple seconds of music out of it before it died, which was, nostalgic and cool. But yeah, that's the iPod Shuffle. At the time, I ran a blog that talked about hacking the iPod Shuffle. So there was skins, like stickers that look like gum wrappers. People would actually modify cassette deck adapters so that you could put an iPod Shuffle into that and shove that into your car. I saw people that had Nintendo controllers. You could plug this into your Xbox controller to charge it. Some of my most popular blog posts were about headphones that you would actually modify to have an internal headphone jack, and you just shove it inside the earpieces. So it was like wireless headphones, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, the iPod Shuffle. I would love to modify this, but I don't know. Or I would love to get this back working, but I think it'll just end up being a little piece of nostalgia. So this was my favorite iPod, although I liked I think I had a third generation, but 2004, 2005, riding around campus. Oh, sorry, that was the whole point of this video. How would you use the iPod Shuffle if all you had was to either play or shuffle? That was the options. You could pull down, like I said, halfway. Gave you repeat, so like if you had albums on there, I guess you would just repeat the albums over and over again. But this is the way that you would use the iPod Shuffle. I would use the iPod Shuffle. You would just pull it straight down to shuffle mode, which is at the bottom there, and then you would listen. And I had probably 20 albums on here that I had picked specifically to go on here, and then I would listen in shuffle mode, kind of like a Pandora kind of, where it just shuffles. But then what I would do is I would listen on shuffle mode, and when I heard an album that I liked, I would slide it up to the middle so that it wouldn't be shuffling anymore. It'd be something like this. And then I would use the back to the beginning of the album, and then I would just listen to the album. That's how I would do it. Kind of like, it was funny because I was just using my Apple Music on my Roku, and I do that now too. So usually I'll listen to an album, and after that it'll randomly play, and then I'll find if there's an album, if the song I like, I'll go view that album and I'll play that. Exact same idea of the iPod Shuffle. Listen in shuffle mode. It was like your own little radio station that you got to curate. So if you liked having Metallica, Slayer, Pantera, whatever on there, your iPod Shuffle was like your own little radio station that you could curate. You didn't really use an iPod Shuffle to have super control over what you were listening to. You used it because you wanted something light and small and actually cheap too. I think these were maybe a couple $100 at the time, or even $120 or something. So it was just a great way to have, a decent amount of songs with you without because like at the time you would be carrying your phone and you'd be carrying your iPod, which was, iPods weren't necessarily that small. So you'd have that. And even those phones were getting smaller before the iPhone came out, which kind of did away with the iPod thing. Having this was even better because this didn't get scratched. You could just throw it in your pocket, have your headphones coming out, go right into your ear. So, okay, that's going to do it. The iPod Shuffle. Again, let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, have a good one. Bye.